I can't please everyone, and that's okay, 'cause I don't try to please everyone, but everyone thinks they should be pleased by me because they're themselves, and why would something I make not be made for them? So they get angry. They say, this doesn't appeal to me. You should make it so that it appeals to me next time. And it's like, well, why? Why should I appeal to you? I know what I appeal to, and I want to appeal to that kind of person and that kind of artistic intent, and you're obviously not that, so why should I? And there is no answer besides the fact that they're themselves and they want to be pleased by something. It's this whole idea of people not understanding what is and isn't for them. I have very, very particular tastes in literally everything. I'm so specific about what I like that it seems like I don't like anything at all, to most people. And people seem to view this as a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. Just because I know what I like, it's not a bad thing. Just because I don't like what you like, doesn't mean what you like is bad. To me it does, but is it a bad thing if you like it? No. I just don't like it. That's fine. The things I make, some people don't like. Is that a bad thing? No. If it was because they would normally like it, but it was a bad product, so they didn't like it when they wanted to, that's another story. But when it simply is not intended for them, and they're pretending as if it was, therein lies the issue. I do not make things intended for everybody. So when everybody pretends it's intended for them, they simply are incorrect. Similarly, when I say I like something, that doesn't mean you have to like it too, or think similarly to the way I think. It'd be nice if we did, because then I wouldn't have to explain everything all the time, but that's going to happen either way, because what I do is explain things all the time. That's the kind of person I am. So whether or not you agree doesn't really matter, because I'm going to keep doing it, because that's how I feel about things. You don't have to change the way I think about something. It's just the way I think about it. I don't need to change the way you think about something either. It doesn't matter. We can think about different things. We can feel differently about things. We don't all need to become one unanimous collective mind about culture. It'd be nice if we did. It'd be nice if everybody was a united collective about the way I think, because then everything would be good to me. But isn't that incredibly selfish? People who think that way are fucking idiots. People who do try to make things for everybody wind up deterring people like me who can see that they're trying to make something for everybody, and therefore it is not for everybody, because I'm aware that it's for everybody, and I don't consider myself to be part of everybody. More specifically, my needs are so specific, and this simply doesn't meet it because it's trying to be too broad. Things that do appeal to everybody do not appeal to me, because I am interested in things that don't appeal to everybody. So in trying to appeal to everybody, it does not appeal to everybody. It's a fool's errand. It does not work, and pretending it does work is foolish. What is not foolish is analyzing yourself, understanding what you enjoy, and allowing yourself to intake those things. You can experiment if you don't know what you like yet, but if you know what you like, then just do what you like. You don't have to go in front of other people and shit on what they like just because you don't like it. Just it isn't for you. It doesn't need to be for everybody. It's so silly. It's so silly when I explain to somebody why I don't like something like a piece of music. This is mainly about music because that's what I know about. So therefore, that's what all my experiences are based on. For you, it might be visual art, so your experiences might be based on visual art. But when somebody shows me a piece of music and I don't like it, a couple things happen. A couple things can happen. They either say, oh, okay, and we just leave it at that, and we let ourselves disagree on it. I still let them like it, and they just let me not like it. There is no issue. We just see it differently. That's fine. I can explain my point. Usually they cannot explain theirs. I've only had one time when they could, which actually was a valid conversation, because usually, all right, this is another tangent entirely. Usually what happens is I give somebody a complete rundown of every single aspect about a piece of music I don't like, and it's all valid because I understand music theory and I'm able to put it into terms that make logical, reasonable sense. These people do not know about music theory, so they say, well, I still like it anyways, and that isn't an argument, that's a feeling. That's not the same thing. A feeling is not an argument. You can base an argument on a feeling, but the feeling is not the argument. You need to develop that into thoughts and reasoning and logic. Music theory helps exceptionally with this. Being able to put your thoughts into words so that your feelings become thoughts, therefore something that can be shared, expressed, understood. So when I give a long list of why I don't like a piece of music and somebody says, oh, you're just being closed-minded about it, simply because they still like it, that's not how it works. That is not how that works. But, back to my list of things. Sometimes we just can disagree. I'll explain why I don't like it. They won't explain why they do like it, but we'll leave it at that because it doesn't matter. We just do disagree. The next thing that happens is kind of what I alluded to before, where they just become completely passive and not making any sense, and they say, oh, well, you're just being too close-minded about it, even though I just gave them an exhaustive list of every single thing I don't like about it, backed in facts and experiences of mine that all perfectly make sense. If it simply is not an interesting piece of music to me, I'm usually able to articulate why. And so I do. So I do articulate these things to people, and they say, oh, well, you're just being closed-minded. You're staying in your comfort zone. That's one I've seen before. I'm staying in my comfort zone, which doesn't make any sense because that's not a comfort zone. That's qualifications that simply are not being met. That's not a comfort zone. That doesn't make any sense. Can't say somebody's in a comfort zone when they just disagree with something. If I wrote it off for the fact that, oh, no, I don't want to listen to that because it's different, that would be a comfort zone. Me listening to it and explaining why I still don't like it even after listening to it is not a comfort zone. That doesn't make any sense. They're two different things. The next thing that will happen... Well, first of all, what did I say already? I said we get on equal terms. I'm dismissed completely for no reason. Oh, and the very, I've only had like one or two instances of this. Someone will actually combat my ideas with actual intellect and reasoning and logistics and other intelligent experiences, usually not about music theory because that's not the kind of people who disagree with me, but they will talk to me about why they think it's good, and I'll say, oh, okay, I can see why you think it's good, but that's not the same reasons I think it's bad, so we can just leave it at that. Usually I'm the one who ends the conversations there because I simply don't have anything more to say about it. I've said what I don't like, they said what they do like. We still don't see eye to eye, so it doesn't matter, so I say, alright, cool. I was interested to hear your opinion. So let's not talk about it again because it's not relevant anymore. Those are the three things that happen. And the most common one is the second one. By far the most common one is the second one. So many people, for some reason, feel the need to be validated by me about their thoughts, and it doesn't make any sense because I'm literally just a guy. I'm not even like a famous guy. I just am a dude who went to school for music. I don't understand why so many people feel the need to validate their tastes through me when they know my tastes are incredibly specific. Maybe that's why it is because my tastes are so incredibly specific that when they find something they like, they're like, wow, this is really, really cool. I'm going to show it to the guy who I know likes interesting music so that he can tell me it's interesting back so I can feel validated, but most of the time it isn't. So I say this is not interesting to me, here's why. And they say, oh, well, it's just not what you like. They're trying to hold on to what they had before I talked to them. And it's like, you know what? It's fine. If they want to stay there, that's no problem. What I would love if they went for the third option, where they actually said why they liked the piece, but normally they don't know why, and since I just told them why they shouldn't, they have nothing to come back with. My points are always very, very reasonable, because I went to school for this. I can bring it down to a science and explain what is not good about this. I can prove it. I can prove it. These people cannot prove why they like it. All they've seen is proof why they shouldn't like it. But that's not even the thing. They're coming at it with the perception that this is why they shouldn't like it, which is completely incorrect. It's the perception of why I don't like it. I'm not telling them not to like it. I'm saying why I don't like it because they came to me after they already made the decision, oh, I like this, I'm going to show it to somebody else. I never say, stop liking this piece. I don't do that. I say, I don't like this. Here's why. And I give a reason why. And they say I'm sticking to a comfort zone, which makes no sense. That's not a comfort zone. That's understanding what music is and applying that to understanding why I don't like it. That's not a comfort zone. That's so silly. It's so stupid. I don't like when people don't make any sense because they think they do, and then they think I'm not the one. They think I'm the one not making any sense. And maybe this doesn't make any sense because I'm tripping over my words very late at night. Got a lot of things to talk about. I'm just a very opinionated person in general. But I really don't know why people try to validate themselves through me all the time. It really might just be because I went to school for music, so people come to me when they find something cool, and then I have to tell them it's not cool. They can still like it, I just don't think it's cool. It's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal. Why does it matter if I don't like something? Why do people care if I don't like something? I'm literally nobody. The thing I'm most famous for is Twitch streams, of which I get maybe an average of 5 viewers per stream. Maybe. Usually about 3 or 4. It's not important. It's not important that I like something. I don't know why people keep trying to shove things down my throat when I don't care about them. It doesn't make any sense. This is different, of course, for friends. I like when friends show me things, because it gives me insight into them. I'm talking about people who I do not talk to on a personal basis. I do not care. I do not care when they want to show me something. Because I have no reason to care. I don't know these people. I don't understand these people who want to show me things and be like, why don't you like it? I like it. And it's like, I told you why I don't like it. And they say, well, you're being closed-minded. That's fucking stupid. That's dumb. That's not an argument. That's a backpedal. This kind of shifted topics. What I wanted to talk about is how I don't make things made for everybody, but people pretend it's still for everybody, and I guess even to myself, to an extent, I would like the things I make to be for everybody, because then more people would like it, and that's good. It's good when people like the things I make, because then the time isn't wasted. I guess even then if it isn't, because if I made something, it's you know, I made it because I felt like it had to be made. It doesn't necessarily need the validation of people liking it, but gosh, wouldn't it be nice to know I'm not the only person who thinks this is an interesting thing? Then again, that's not it's not a feeling I'm unfamiliar with, so who knows? The issue here, I think, is that I've lived so much of my life with the understanding that I should be appealing to everybody, but suddenly, within the last couple years, I've realized, wait, that's not the case. I am a very, very niche kind of person with a very, very niche kind of interests that a lot of people simply don't seem to understand no matter how many times I try to make them understand. They simply don't. So I've gone to just not trying to explain it anymore. I just am who I am, and if somebody doesn't understand, I don't fucking care because very few people do. I've got very niche interests, and that's fine. For a long time, I didn't feel this way. When I made the French Music Conservation Project, I felt this way. The idea of, oh, even though this is a really, really niche interest, I'm going to try to expound it to as broad of an audience as possible, which I think is kind of silly. I feel the need to delete some of those videos just because they're so broad to the point where the ideas I wanted to express are lost. And are actually, in fact, expressing things that I don't believe. What I want to do with the French Music Conservation Project now is keep it strictly to two things. I want to keep it to purely biographical studies, which is to say biographs I have either put together or otherwise found and I'm sharing short snippets of, or else I just want it to be purely music. Maybe analyses here and there, analyses of pieces, but that's even more niche than those things. That's even more niche than the niche I'm talking about right here. Not many people want to listen to those. Well, many people do, but not many people understand, and to which I say, what's the point? So I think that's what I'll do. I don't think I'll delete any of those videos. I'll at least make them private. Some of them. I think the analyses can stay, and obviously the pieces that are just purely music can stay, but I think all the other ones gotta go. Gotta go bye-bye. Because they're trying to be for everybody, but they shouldn't be. They're not for everybody. So coming at it with the perspective of everybody simply makes it so that the people it is supposed to be for don't like it either. It's just this really weird middle ground of something nobody wants. It doesn't appeal to anybody because it's trying to appeal to everybody, and everybody doesn't want it, but the niche wants it. But since it's being targeted towards the everybody, the niche loses the interest because it's either A, all stuff they know, or B, stuff they don't care about because, it's this really weird middle ground that I'm really upset at myself for getting into. I wish I figured this out sooner. I wish everybody figured this out sooner. I feel like not many people feel this way, or if they do feel this way, they don't recognize it, because so many people are trying to appeal to everybody at the same time, which is super silly. That's not going to happen. It's never going to happen, because there's always going to be people like me who say, oh, well, this would have been a lot better if you just focused on what you wanted to focus on, rather than what you thought the mass appeal was. There's always going to be people like that, and therefore you'll never reach everybody even when you try to, because it's like that snake who eats its own tail. It's just a self-defeating prophecy, I guess you could say. Is that a term? I feel like that's a combination of two terms, but I don't know what they are. Anyways, this went on for way too long.